Public Interest SA wants the United States Department of Justice to investigate Bain and Company for the role it played in the country. That's after the first part of the state capture inquiry report found evidence of a coordinated agenda between Bain, former president, and the SARS Bain. Meanwhile, has hit back. Let's speak to the organization's Tebogo Khaas, who is the founder and chair of Public Interest SA. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Khaas. We appreciate it. I think first off, let's speak about what is contained in your complaint and whether or not that complaint has been acknowledged by the US.
Thanks, Heidi. Yes, indeed. Our complaint is premised on two things. First of all, the NPA has, for more than 4 years now, failed to act on Bain after the release of the report of the Nugent, of retired Judge Robert Nugent. And we are nowhere near learning whether an investigation was done and what is the status of that, if at all. But chances are nothing has been done, and certainly no prosecutions have followed since then. And to the extent that it took so long for the NPA or our local authorities to act, we had to try and find mechanisms that we could leverage on to force multinationals to account for the wrongdoings in countries such as South Africa, especially in Africa, throughout Africa. It is for that reason that we leverage off the provisions of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act of the US, whereupon their companies or certain entities and individuals are required to, can be held accountable for the wrongdoings, certainly the corruption that has been alleged that they were involved with outside the US territories itself. So it is on that basis that we felt that we will approach the US Department of Justice, lodge a complaint, which has been successfully done on Friday. We had acknowledgement of receipts, and we will await to hear from the DOJ as to what further steps and actions or input is required of ourselves or local authorities. But that is something that we're just raising to make sure that we don't get this matter swept under the carpet, because certainly it doesn't bode well for the rule of law if we can have the Bains and other major consulting companies and IT companies, I won't mention names, at least not today, get away with impunity. And that is what we're trying to do. That is one part of the letter.
Certainly. Speak to us about the rest of the letter. And the reason why I want us to go a little deeper into this is because I remember during the Nugent Commission, it looked specifically at what exactly transpired at the South African Revenue Service under Tom Moyane, who was the commissioner at the time. And what was different about that report was that there was an immediate recommendation to President Cyril Ramaphosa at the time to fire Tom Moyane and not wait for the final report. But it seems as though not much has been done, especially with companies like Bain and Co. That had a hand to play in this renewal and this strategy that SARS was supposed to undertake. That was paid billions of rands only to be told what to do and what to put on paper, and nothing was actually implemented. What else are you hoping to achieve here, especially from the NPA and from the US by lodging this complaint?
Yes, certainly firing or relieving former SARS Commissioner Tom Moyane of his duties was one of the recommendations that came from that report. But what is of major concern is the fact that there was also a recommendation that the NPA do all and that is within the law to investigate and upend the corrupt contracts or the suspect contracts that were awarded Bain. Nothing has been done. 4 years later, I wouldn't be surprised if Bain is still there and they have been reaping the profits of their tainted arrangements at SARS. And Judge Zondo could have easily cut and pasted what Judge Nugent had already said, because this recommendation that Judge Zondo has made is the same or similar recommendation as one of those that Judge Nugent did. The question is, what has the NPA been doing? Why has the NPA been sleeping all these 4 years? Don't we pay taxes for the NPA to uphold the rule of law? Don't we pay taxes to make sure that the NPA protects the interests of South Africans? Certainly not our interest, because the interests of Bain and others seem to be safeguarded, because Bain, despite the fact that even associations that it belonged to temporarily suspended it, they were soon reinstated. They are continuing reaping the proceeds of tainted relationships, not only at SARS. It is my understanding that this could be just the tip of the iceberg, as many other departments or state-owned enterprises could be ensnared by the tentacles of Bain.
It's interesting you say that the Zondo Commission could have just copied and pasted what's happened at SARS from that Nugent report. And we could say the same for the SAA parts, especially under Dudumieni. We saw that a lot of that evidence was brought about during her delinquency matter. I just want to get your sense as to why you think the NPA is not acting, especially when the evidence is there, when you have these reports from the Nugent Commission, from the PIC as well. That was also a commission. And many people are saying, but why is the NPA not acting? Because the evidence is there. They've been asked to investigate. They've been told not to wait for the other parts of the report, and they can immediately start acting where the recommendations warrant.
South Africans sympathize with the NPA to the extent that it has been hollowed out, to the extent that it is still infested to some extent, if not to a great extent, with people who were looking kindly to state capture or who were venal themselves, and to also dislodge them from the entity. We understand it will take a while. But here you are, as you rightly put it, there was a penalty kick that was put on the spot, and all the NPA needed to do was just to kick the ball. Let the goalkeeper save it, or let it be a goal. But the NPA has failed to actually take advantage of the low-hanging fruits, such as in this instance. And with regards to the Zondo Commission itself, we know the kind of investigations that have gone underneath. They've unearthed maybe even more additional information or evidence with regards to SARS. All that the NPA needs to do is access those files. Make sure that you prosecute even there's a legal saying that even a prosecutor can lay charges on or can indict a ham sandwich. We're saying this is not even a ham sandwich; it's even a better ripe case to be prosecuted, and we don't see what is holding on the NPA. It's about time that the National Director of Prosecution takes South Africans into her confidence as to what exactly is stopping the NPA from doing its job. If it fails, let it say so. Let it issue nolle prosequi all round. We will pick up those that we believe we should be picking up. We'll take them to court and prosecute, because we've got individuals who are currently now stashing their ill-gotten gains the world, all over the world. It will be difficult to track them, or even when you track them, funds would have been dissipated. And certainly, some of them are actually with the passing of time. Some of them corona is affecting them. We may not have witnesses; they may be missing, and memories fade. What is it that the NPA is waiting on? We just don't know. That's a question that I think Ms. Batoyi need to be able to answer and tell us what are they waiting for, especially in those cases where there's abundance of evidence.
Certainly. I think we definitely need to put more pressure on the National Prosecuting Authority, because it's in black and white. Part 1 is over 800 pages, and they can definitely take from some of that to investigate further, as recommended by a number of commissions that taxpayers have actually paid for.